evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Non-Stop Racing TV. As here tonight, we are presenting the Integrity League Racing League. Here for the All-In 250 at Daytona International Speedway. Here tonight with the NASCAR Monster Energy Cup cars. I'm your commentator, Zach Mecca, joined here tonight by
Ryan Nichols.
Second commentator here for tonight, and we are ready for a great action-packed night here, folks, as we are seeing a lot of on-track action so far here tonight with a lot of side drafting so far. Seen a couple wrecks so far. Typical to happen here while at Daytona, and we're going to see a big group heading out up pit road here. As let's see if we can get a good view on what might happen as we get a view of what might be happening here tonight. So Ryan, from previous experience being out in the Cup cars, how intensifying is it to be in one of these cars going 190 plus miles an hour around these high banked oval turns?
Well, I'm going to tell you, Zach, I mean, you look at it from, up in the broadcast booth, and it looks pretty simple, like, hey, it's just a bunch of cars following each other. But I'm going to tell you what, being in that cockpit, you are constantly working. Your eyes are working, you're in the mirror, you're looking out the windshield, and you are just non-stop working and thinking, and it's a lot tougher than it looks.
And I think we're definitely going to get a couple views of that here tonight with our in-car cameras. We're going to save those for the action pack, though.
So I just figured out a way to save a bunch of money. I was about to buy.
Oh yeah, you're definitely going to see a lot of 2 wide, 3 wide. It's going to be an intense race. I can just see it now. The way these guys are running in practice.
Every coupon code on the internet and applies the best one.
Give me 1 second.
$30 on these headphones, and all I had to. Seriously, go get Honey now. It's free, takes 0 effort, and you'll never.
My fucking. Ooh, I said that on the broadcast. My apologies. Stuff is freezing up over here for some freaking reason, and I don't know why.
Hey, it's all good.
As technical difficulties were arising there, that is my apologies, folks. I'm going to get the ticker right back up on the screen for you real quick, as a couple things did seem to arise there and did not let me control anything, and my apologies for my language early on. Throw the ticker right back up there for you. Throw on the loop. Get the flags. No clue why that started. But we're going to open up a couple things here to see if it'll help me prevent that tonight. Definitely got to close out of a lot of things, because that might...
Yeah, I mean, these guys are looking pretty racy, even just in practice, so I'm expecting a really good race.
I am too. I'm trying to pay attention while solving these issues. So we're going to have to... Seems like we're so far... Oh, we got a little one loose there on the bottom, the number 92. Going to get a good save, though, out of that. As he is going to lose a lot of position from that, though. It looks like the 3, or is that the number 2? And that might be that's the number 1 right there, actually, who is helping him out. Okay. Now everything seems to be working back to how it should be, which is good. We're going to open up a couple things here. If it does pop up on screen, my apologies. But as we're looking so far here tonight, I'm seeing a lot of strong cars here, but one in particular I was looking at before. Ooh, we got one spinning down on the apron there.
Yeah, the 88 car spinning on the backstretch.
Uh-oh. Get the list up of my drivers here I got. Number 88 of Michael Dewell. As, ooh, we got a big wreck on the front stretch now. Ooh. One driver in particular I have been looking out for, though, may not be the fastest on the board, was that number 11 right there. He is in position number 8 on the board, but man, has he been showing some speed so far here tonight.
Yeah, as we can watch him going down the backstretch, he just closed right up on the 48 of Adam de Blasio. Just put the bumper right to him, and he's definitely got some speed out of that FedEx Toyota.
Definitely, as we see him coming down the front stretch here, we're going to see one bring it down to pit road, but most of them staying in the pack here.
Yeah, this is a pretty decent sized pack running here in the front.
Ooh, get the 9 and the number 27 there. Made a little contact. 27 had to slide up high. He's going to lose a little momentum. As now the number 11 looks to pass on the high side of the number 48. Well,
yeah, and that 27 of Nick Stoller, he is on the outside with no help, so he is going backwards in a hurry.
Let's see if we can get maybe an interview in here for tonight before this race with one of the drivers. Not trying to interrupt anybody that is out on track right now, so we're going to have to be taking a couple looks here to see who is on track and who is not. Alright, we got one driver in particular here we are going to bring down, if we can get him. As Carson, the driver of the number 62, do you have a copy?
Wait, what?
This is the Non-Stop Racing TV. You are up here in the booth with us. Do you have a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Alright, we're seeing some pretty strong racing out here tonight with about a minute left here in practice. We just got a quick couple questions for you. One of them is going to be, what is your strategy heading out in here tonight for the race into the duels?
I plan on hopefully getting a good qualifying spot so I can stay ahead of all like the chaos that's going to go on in the back.
So you think a lot of the chaos is going to happen in the back there and not really the front?
I think if we settle down up front and people start losing the draft, then I'll be like fine where I'm at. But being up front's also chaotic at the start.
Now, big choices here tonight with pit stops as tires. How do you think that's going to play out into your effect tonight?
We actually haven't tested the set for longer than like 15 laps, so I think tires might get a little tight by the end of the run. But I don't think tires will be that big of an effect.
Alright, well, with about 50 seconds left here in practice, we'll head you back down, but is there anybody you'd like to thank here tonight?
4GG for somehow dealing with my shenanigans every week.
Alrighty, man. Well, great talking with you. Good luck tonight.
Thank you.
Well, he seemed like he had a positive strategy going into the night. One of the drivers thinking about staying up at the front of the pack. Maybe the front of the pack's going to straighten out and not be as hectic as the back. But with previous experiences at Daytona, every spot on the track is hectic.
Yeah, and Zach, I want to ask you, as a driver as well, how important is a good starting spot here at Daytona? I mean, we've seen cars go from worst to first in a handful of laps. Is starting up near the front more important than starting near the back?
I think starting otherwise in the front of the pack or the back of the pack is more important. If you are in the mid of the pack, that's where the intensity levels happen, and that's where your hands are on the wheels, your hands are sweating because everybody's side by side, door banging, you know, You could see the driver to your left, right. If you're on that high side, you could wave to him. You guys are that close. You're going 190 miles per hour. Everybody's bumping and banging there. That's where the wrecks seem to happen most, is in the middle of the pack. I personally like to be in the back of the pack for most of the race, because that's where you'll see most of the wrecks happening, and you have the most time to slow down.
Yeah, or as they call the middle of the pack, the hornet's nest.
Exactly, as now we're going to see the cars start to head out for qualifying here, as the number 95 of Christopher Halling will take his lap and start it on that high line, trying to get that momentum to get that fast lap out of the turns.
Yeah, you're probably going to see a lot of these cars take the high line on their first lap to get the cars wound up, and then you'll probably see them go right to the bottom.
As the number 95 will come down to start his first lap of the night in that nice new 2017 Toyota Camry, or actually, no, 2018, my apologies. Taking that car into the high line there.
Yeah, he is riding the wall, trying to get that car as wound up as much as possible to try and get as much speed out of it as he can.
As let's throw on our RPM meter down below on the bottom left of your screen, seeing that car is just above 8,000 RPMs heading into turn number 3. Representing the M&M's Toyota Camry here tonight. We'll get that run off of the turn there. Let's see if we can get a driver drop of how fast is he going. He's going 184 miles per hour coming to the start-finish line.
And now he'll ride that bottom, he'll hug that yellow line probably all the way around for this lap.
As he does get position number 3 here, only 0.031 seconds behind for the pole. Is now, after running that high line lap, going to gain a lot of time coming here. Maybe going to take a shot for the pole tonight.
Yeah, that 95 is on that yellow line through turns 3 and 4. Actually going below the yellow line to the start-finish line.
I'm not sure if that's legal, but it will be counted as a legal lap.
And he is at the top of the board as of now.
I've never done that at Daytona in my experiences, and I didn't know that was legal. As now the number 98 will take the lap, take the pole position now.
And the 11 has taken the second spot.
Levin looking like a fast car here tonight, but he is only on his first lap. That was his first lap as he's coming into turn 3 and 4 for a second. I'm hoping for maybe a positive lap here, and as it's looking so far, that number 11 might get tonight's pole.
He's below the line. Oh, man, he's coming down pit road.
Nope, I guess that was his second lap he completed. Let's see if we can find a driver who has not completed their second lap, as it's looking to be the number 31 of Nick Terrenbush, coming to the start-finish line for a second lap. Going to get P24 out of that. As we will bring up your results here for qualifying so far. And first, the number 09 of David Rattler, running the fastest time so far of a 48.609 at 183.62 miles per hour.
Yeah, very close times throughout pretty much the entire field. And it looks like the 36 of Brendan John Kohler just took the top spot with a 48.608.
Just beating the number 09 by 1/1000th of a second there. Close time. As qualifying does seem to wrap up here.
And you can see the number 09 of David Rattler and the number 4 of Brandon 6. They ran identical times. Both ran a 48.609.
Actually, I think qualifying might be a lot longer than 5 minutes. I think it might be 10-minute session. Oh, yeah, I do see what you were talking about. The number 09 and the number 4 tied for P2 and 3, but I think it's going to go to the number 09 as he did run that lap first. But it does seem that the number 4 was just 0.01 miles per hour slower, so I'm not sure how iRacing does differentiate that. But the 09 does take it.
Yeah, and I'm looking through the field, and I see a lot of drivers that ran identical times, just very close times. I mean, it's going to be a very tight field. I mean, they're going to be pretty much all over each other throughout this whole race. They're pretty much all identical.
As we do see another identical time for Pete number 12 here, it's going to be the number 11 of Eric de Belosio and the number 9 of Joe Slamma. Both running identical times there and identical miles per hour. I don't know how iRacing does differentiate that, but somehow they do. Must be more time ticking than we can get. As we're going to see another identical time here in for P21 between the number 29 and 28. As we look at the times so very close to each other, as P23 is only 0.051 back from the lead, P24 is 0.052, about a tenth of a second separating each and every position.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the times. You look at the 67 of Don Stevenson, the 17 of Neil Frolick, and the 83 of Guillermo Alvarez. All three of them ran a 48.638. That is impressive.
As qualifying still underway here, nobody is on track though. I think everybody has completed their laps, as that's going to be the official results here for qualifying. Yep. As these times are so very close. Going to be identical in the race. Everybody will be running the same exact times with that draft, bumper to bumper, door to door. I think it's going to be a great race tonight, Ryan. I really do.
Oh, I definitely agree. It's going to be what they call, it's going to be a rush hour at 200 miles an hour.
As let's see if maybe we can get a little weather here for tonight at the track at Daytona. Currently right now in Daytona it is 83 degrees. Track temp is very hot there with 108 degree track temp. Partly cloudy, humidity up in the 55 range. About the average for Florida weather. But that track might be a little slick here tonight. Here tonight. As that may start causing problems for getting into the turn or out of the turn. You might see cars sliding up the track, getting loose, getting tight. I think it's going to give the tires a little slickness to them, and that's definitely going to affect drivers going into the turn, as we're going to see a lot of drivers on the low line slide up the track a little bit, and maybe that might be the cause of most of these wrecks here tonight.
Yeah, because I was watching a few cars in practice, and the back ends were getting a little out of shape on some of them, so it's going to be pretty interesting.
As a little quick lesson here, the information about Daytona International Speedway, it is a 2.479 mile long track. The altitude of it is very, very low, really close to sea level, only about 36.5 feet above sea level. There's 4 turns here tonight. The banking in the turns at Daytona, I believe, is about 30 to 35 degrees, if I am correct, Ryan?
Yeah, I believe the banking's roughly about 33 degrees in 1 and 2 and 3 and 4.
And it is 31-degree banking turns, and it is an 18-degree banking at the start-finish line. So trying to walk up that track on the turns is like trying to climb Mount Everest, kind of.
Yeah, that's some pretty steep banking. I mean, 31 degrees may not sound like a lot, but it is. As you'll probably see later on with our gyro cam, the amount of banking that these cars go through in the turns.
That is exactly correct. We do have some special cameras here. Gyro cam will be one of them you'll be able to see. And you're just going to see what these drivers go through in the turns. Exactly. And we got a few helmet cams here tonight, brought to you by NonStopRacingTV. As I believe now the drivers are in the drivers meeting here tonight, getting all the rules set for here tonight, making sure they all are steady about what will happen. If a black flag is given to you, it is a specific reason why. Just going over the last minute stuff, you know, the usual, as a lot of drivers like me and you would know.
Oh yeah, all the rules and regulations of plate racing and just racing in general.
As this will be a 2-split race session here tonight, I'm going to try and give you a little preview of what's going to be happening here tonight. Since it is the Daytona duels, I'm having a little trouble talking there. That's kind of a tongue twister. Duel 1 is set to begin at 9:05 p.m. Eastern Time, and Duel 2 is set to begin about 9:55 p.m. Eastern Time. Not sure how many laps these races are, as Ryan could probably give me an inside view of that.
Yeah, I believe each dual race is going to be, I think it was anywhere around 30 laps.
It says right here it's actually going to be 32 laps each dual race.
Okay, 32 laps. That was close.
Yep, just got the inside notice. So, as they do set up for these duels here, probably telling these drivers who made it into the first duel and who will make it into the second duel. These guys are getting ready to go underway here, and this excitement is just ready to get out of me. I'm ready to see some good racing here. Racing season is finally back as Non-Stop Racing TV is bringing you all full 36 races of the Integrity Racing League. It's going to be action-packed season and hopefully a great partnership to last for the next how many years we can make it work.
Yeah, it definitely looks like it's going to be an interesting season just by the way these guys were running in practice. I mean, the way they were running in practice, you would think it was the last lap of the Daytona 500. The way they were going 3 wide and just mixing it up all over the track.
As we will say once again tonight, is the Integrity Racing League, the All-In 250 at Daytona International Speedway. All-In Restoration is a growing business started in 2017, owned and operated by James Hudson. All-In Restoration covers anything from basic auto repairs to full-on restorations. If you have a car that needs any full-on restoration, give James Hudson a call at All-In Restoration. As Non-Stop Racing TV will be switching over to the next session here, please stand by for the next couple minutes. as we are back. And we are ready to take action here as the pace car will bring them around turn 3 and 4 here. As your grid will be going through slowly there. Getting ready for some great racing here tonight. Just about 23 cars in this field.
Yeah, it looks like a very strong field as the pace car gets ready to duck on off. And we will turn these guys loose.
Green flag.
As green flag does wave, they are underway here. 32 laps of racing as the number 36 of Brendan Kohler on that pole so far will take the lead. Gonna go into turn number 1 and 2 here. He's gonna get that run on that low line. Might block that high line coming out of turn number 2 here. We're gonna have to see if they can get the run.
Yeah, and the 36 of Kohler, he got a really good push right at the start from the 98 of Joseph Galota.
As we will see the number 4 now starting to get a run on that outside lane. The number 36 does not choose to go up and block. May not be enough of a run to get to the pass. No, it will not be, as it just seems to be a two-man fight on that outside right now.
Yeah, that outside line's going to need a lot more help as they got a bunch of cars coming now on the high side. But just the high line just does not seem to form right away. It looks like it takes a little while to get the high line going, as most of these cars are choosing the inside line.
As I do enter turn 1 and 2 here, that high banking 31 degrees of a turn. The number 36 still in the lead there. See if we can get maybe a little farther back in the pack and check out maybe what's happening in the back as we head to the number. We're going to head to the number 4 here. Still looking to try to get on that inside line. No opening so far yet. He is getting some more help though on that outside line.
Yeah, he's got the 28 of Lee Pierce right behind him, along with the 17 of Neil Frolick. And he's also got another car behind him. So you got 4 cars on that outside line trying to get something to work.
Trying to get something to work, but with 4 cars against 20 cars on that inside line, it's going to be real tough without... They're going to need some more help than that. Trying to see if they can get somebody to come up. Looking so far like nobody wants to budge.
Yeah, definitely the inside line is the preferred lane at the beginning of the race, most part. But as the race goes on, you'll see that high line form more and more as you see more cars going to the high side.
As they will come across the start-finish line, making it 29 laps to go here. Going to become a 5-car group on that outside lane. Some cars starting to come up and realize that outside lane needs some help, as we're going to see another car slide up, make it a 6-car pack. We're going to see the number, if I can get a good glimpse at it, give me the number 53 in the Hooters car, the 53 of James Hudson.
And he's got that 22 of Tanner McCullough right behind him, pushing him.
As now the outside line does seem to get some more help, as we're going to see the number 22 drop down low.
Yeah, it looks like people are, these guys are starting to experiment with the high line, but they're quickly ducking back to the inside because they're realizing the high line's not working just yet.
As maybe they will expect a caution to happen. Not sure if a competition caution will fly or not. But we're going to see some more cars looking to experiment out on the outside lane. Can't tell who it is in the back there. Looks to be the number 20. 20 of Nick Stoller. He's going to try to get to that outside lane and start getting a move in there.
Yeah, that outside line, even though there's a lot fewer cars on that outside line than there are on the inside, they seem to be pretty much holding their own up there.
As they do come across the start-finish line here for 27 laps to go. A lot of more cars now are starting to get onto that outside lane. Wow.
Yeah, we have about 8 cars now on that high line as compared to about 3 or 4 just about a lap ago.
As now a lot of people are seeing that outside lane is starting to form. I think we might start seeing them catch up to the front in the 36. I wonder if he's going to start pulling some moves, going up and down, up and down. Going to go out of the corner, go up to the high side to hold their momentum off. And then when they're coming into the turn, he's going to go back down to the low side, and he's going to try to hold off the momentum of the bottom side.
Yeah, that outside line is slowly starting to work up towards the front, as you still got a pretty decent amount of cars committed to that high line, trying to get it to work.
As they are coming through turn number 2 here, 36 will still be out front, but we're going to see that high lane starting to form a lot more now as they're going to head into turn 3. Let's give you our gyro cam of the 36 view as he heads into that 31-degree banking.
Oh, and the 36 and 98 just moved up to block that high line because they had one heck of a run coming down the backstretch. And now you see him moving back and forth, trying to break that draft, trying to hold him up.
As they will go high, and now the 36, is he going to go low to block that low line momentum? Not going to have enough time. The low line's going to start taking over here. That's going to be a change for the lead.
Yeah, now you got the 5 of Joseph Thies with the number 9 of Joe Slama on that bottom lane. And they are all side by side, 2 by 2, all the way deep.
As now the number 5 will take the advantage of the lead going into turn number 4 here. As now that 36 seems to lose it a little bit. Hasn't got the runoff he needs. That will be your first lead change of the night here. The number 5 of Joseph Thies will take the lead for the first time here tonight. And if I did butcher your name, that is my apology.
And you can see that 36 of Kohler trying to stay as low as he can, trying to side draft to keep those cars from running away from him. He's trying to keep that high line going.
As let's get a cockpit view here with your helmet cam provided to you by the number 42 car of Tom Wetmore. See what struggles he has to go through. Ooh, we're going to see a little crinkle up on that right front hood of his. As this driver will head into turn number 1 here, heading into that steep 31-degree of banking. Working that wheel, trying to keep it as steady as possible. That's how you want it to be in the turns. It's going to get up to the number 92's bumper. That's what you call bump drafting, folks. Right there, bumper to bumper.
That 92, the 92 just gave that number 9 car a good shot going down the backstretch.
As we see the number 36 front end creep into the picture there a little bit. Now, these drivers cannot see anything to their right. They rely all on their spotter of what's happening to them on the right. Left side, there is a little more visibility, but not much. But on that right side, they don't see anything. They don't know where the car is. They don't know how close that car is until they can start seeing that front bumper of the car, and they have to rely on their spotter in the turns and on the stretches to keep them away from that car so they don't wreck.
And I'm seeing a couple cars, I don't know if they're purposely falling off the draft or just trying to hang back and maybe anticipating the big one. But we got the 22 of Tanner McCullough, the 06 of Jay Heishman, and a couple other cars just kind of hanging back, but it looks like they're starting to close back up on the front of the field.
As we will bring you back to our Fox camera now, as that 36 is trying to fight on that high line to try and get that lead back. Just needs more help from that high line as they are starting to get up to their bumper there. That low line on the inside in the lead only has a 4-car pack until that next car behind them can get to the bumper, but that little gap, that's not that big gap right there is not good. They need to close that gap in order to help this inside line stay efficient.
Yeah, and that the 28 is closed, just closed right back up on the 42. So that whole inside line is right back to bumper.
A lot of what we're seeing a lot here is side drafting, where these cars on the inside lane are purposely sliding up to the cars on the outside lane to try and kill that draft. It's going to kill their momentum, and it's going to help the low lane pass the high line. The high line also does it to the low line, so that's where you're going to see the cars starting to bounce near each other and then bounce away from each other there, as that's a lot of bobbing and weaving right there, but they're just trying to side draft to kill each other's momentum.
Yeah, and like you said, Zach, those inside cars, they'll purposely side draft that outside lane, and what that does is it stalls that outside line out. It keeps them from getting that big of a run for them to go screaming by. So they'll do that to stall that outside line.
It basically stalls the air out of it, and air is the most important thing here for drafting. As now we're seeing a lot of cars that were on that inside line go to the outside line and that outside line will take the inside line spot. So it looks like these drivers are starting to switch up, saying, I don't like being out here, I want to move. Well, as they're coming around out of turn number 4 for 18 laps left, the number 5 of Joseph Thies is still in the lead.
And we got one car right in front of this lead group who's about to go a lap down, and that's the number 97 of Nicholas Ward.
And that will shake up things a lot here, depending on where that car stays. As he looks to go to the outside lane, he's going to start... Looks like he might kill that outside lane momentum. They're going to have to stay as low as possible while not trying to wreck into the other cars.
Yeah, and he's scraping that wall, just trying to stay out of the way.
He's trying to stay as high as he can, as that outside line wants to try and see if they can help him. Gaining so much speed on him, they're not going to be able to help him. So he's going to be left out in the dry up there. Maybe he's going to try and catch onto that draft once everybody passes him. He's going to try and bounce down to that high lane there, and then that'll help him gain their draft. Nope, he's going to stay high. He's just going to stay high and let him go.
Yep, here comes that outside line. Now the 36 of Kohler is dead even with the number 5 of Joseph Thies for that lead.
As going into turn 3 and 4 here. Number 5 is going to get the advantage on the low line, but if that high line can stay bumper to bumper, they're going to get a great run out of the turn. Let's see what happens here out of the turn.
Whoa, and that number 9 car just got a little bit out of shape coming out of 4 as he caught the apron.
That lap between the number 36 and the number 5, for some reason it's telling me it counted the 36 as the leader, but it is not. Well, he is the leader now, but for that lap it is not. As they were almost...
Yeah, and that 36 of Kohler just made a power move to dive in front of that number 5 to get back to the inside line.
As that number 5 did lead the most laps, so with 9, with the 36 leading, he had led 7 laps previously. Going to come around for 8, as he dropped out of the high side, said, "Thanks for the help, guys. I'm gone." As we are on lap 15 to go here, we're going to bring you to a Crank It Up view presented to you by NonStopRacingTV. as that was Crank It Up presented to you by Non-Stop Racing TV. We did see a little almost accident happen while we started Crank It Up with the number 36 going to the high line at a turn 4, trying to kill the momentum of that high line when they were getting a great run off. Got a shove from the 98 and almost spun him around.
Yeah, that 36 car, Kohler, he's been moving from the top to the bottom, back to the top, and he just seems to be able to make both lanes work. He's been able to stay out front regardless of whether being on the high side or the low side.
As side by side coming out of turn number 4 there, trying to get the momentum run to get the lead, the lap led. Something just seemed to have happened there. As actually, okay, that was something different. I just got a phone call in the middle of this. But the number 5 with Joseph Thies getting the help from that low lane. It seems to be that high line is starting to disappear now as they realize that's not the best way to go. Now everybody's trying to get to the low line, and then that's where you're going to see people start faking out. Going to fake to go to the high side. They'll bring somebody up, and then they'll go right back down to the low side and get the position.
And that 42 of Wetmore, he just got a bump draft from the 28 of Lee Pierce in the middle of the corner, which is very dangerous, but both drivers keeping it straight.
As they are coming out of turn number 2, they're onto the backstretch. Backstretch seems to be the longest stretch of them all, and in a driver's view, I would say. Because the front stretch, as soon as you come out of turn number 4, it seems like the front stretch is, boom, right there.
And believe it or not,
we got a big one happening.
One
here.
car, 42, flipping
around.
over. Here it is, the big wreck.
The big one at the Daytona. Let's see if we can get an instant replay there. Seemed, in my opinion, to be caused by that number 42. So we're going to try and get a replay of that here as they do enter the backstretch.
And it looks like the 36 of Kohler, the 98 of Galuda, probably 2 faster cars caught up in that wreck.
Oh. We're going to see, actually, that looked to be a bit of netcode there on the iRacing side.
Yeah, it looks like the 44 of James Hickson got involved. He's got some damage on that 44 Denny's Toyota.
I tried to do a slow-mo and it just didn't want to agree with me. It's shaking the whole screen.
And the front of that 98 car is destroyed. The 36 car of Kohler, destroyed.
Let's see if I can get a good see if we can get a good slow motion replay here as it is shaking the screen just a little bit.
And by what I'm hearing from the drivers, it was definitely netcode.
As I do enter turn 3 and 4 here in slow motion, we're going to see the number 70. Font's a little weird. I thought it said 79. We're going to see the number 70. He's going to give the push to number 28. He's going to slide up just a little bit. There's room in between him and the number 36. I think that's where it's going to cause the netcode. And netcode in iRacing is when internet issues between a driver or on the server cause a wreck when 2 drivers never touched. As they will still be going through turn 3 and 4. The 28 is going to get to the bumper, the number 42. Somewhere along here, the wreck will happen. As, the 28 is going to get a little push there. There's the netcode right there as the 36 starts, rear end starts to go around. Looks like it was caused by the number 28's car. And boom, the 36 car goes around. Front end will hit the number 42. And that 42 will go straight into that outside wall. And with all that speed and momentum he had, it just sends that car upside down, folks.
Yeah, that was a wild ride for the 42.
As we do hope everybody in that wreck did make it out all right. With 9 laps to go, the number 5 of Joseph Thies does have the lead still. I don't know if anybody is pitted yet, because we were trying to get a good view of that replay as they will come into turn 4 here. Let's see if anybody does take the pit road.
We're trying to see. Looks like the 5, maybe? No, looks like they're pretty much all staying out.
As we got a good view of the commitment cone there, but nobody seemed to have wanted to take a opportunity to possibly fill her up before they go back to green. They must have enough gas here to make it to the end.
Yeah, we're not sure what the fuel level is in these cars. Not sure if it was half load, full load, but apparently these guys are pretty confident that they can make it to the end because they're all staying out.
As now it's the decision, does the 5 want to take the high lane on the restart, or will he take the low lane on the restart? From a driver's point of view, where would you start? Where would you want to start on this restart, Ryan? High lane or low lane?
Well, from my experience, I've always found at the start, on any start or restart, it seems like that inside line moves better at the beginning. So me personally, I would take that inside line if I was on the restart, if it was up to me.
We're going to have to see how he shakes it up here, if he will take the inside line or not. Because I do agree there with my personal experience that at Daytona or Talladega, the inside line does seem to have the best running start for the restart. But if we hit another track like, what's another track in mind we could hit? I'd say Darlington. Darlington with the different size turns and banking. I like the outside on the restart because going into turn 1, I get that run on the outside coming out of turn 3 and 4 for the restart. Going into turn 1, it gives me a good advantage getting into the turn, and also the high line is really the most used line at Darlington, where everybody wants to be.
Yeah, I'll tell you another track that I would choose that outside lane for restart is Kansas, because that track's pretty much a high line track.
And then when we hit the road courses, that's where it gets a little tricky because there's no inside or outside. There's a left and right. That's because they're turning left and right. And so I can tell you from experience, I like to take the right lane mostly at both road course tracks that these Cup cars hit, which is Sonoma and Watkins Glen. Because the first turn seems to get the best of the advantage with that right lane. But that is in a driver's opinion, and that's how, depending on how your car handles throughout the day and on the restarts, where you're going to get the best run. So if you're in the lead, that's all your decision.
That is true. Every driver has his preference, so
exactly.
It all depends on where you want to be.
As we do see the number 5 take the inside lane there. Now, if I was the number 9, I wouldn't be upset because I got the outside lane. I'd actually be a little excited because that outside lane is going to have a full formed lane just like the inside lane. So it's going to be a fight to the finish.
Yeah, exactly. And if you can get a good restart and get up to the gears just right, you can pretty much hang with that leader on the outside. And especially if you get a good push from behind.
As I'm reading through chat here, I'm seeing a lot of hate or a lot of corrections on how we were saying the number 5's name. It is not Joseph Theis, it's Joseph T. Ice. So Theis, they're saying.
Okay, duly noted.
Oh.
Again, we apologize if we mispronounce names, so just throwing that out there.
As they do come out of turn 4 here, lights on the pace car are off. Pace car getting ready to dive down pit road. Brett Bodine down pit road. Green flag will fly, and we are underway here for another restart at Daytona.
And it looks like that outside lane did not get a good restart.
As we put the RPM meter down at the bottom left of your corner there, we will see the drivers shifting through the gears there. As they go into turn number 1 and 2 here. The number 92 on the rear bumper of the number 5 as the number 9 ducked to the inside lane as quick as he could. It seemed like everybody on that outside lane wanted to get down as fast as they could.
Yeah, it looks like everybody's opting for that low line for now. I'm pretty sure it's going to get a little hectic here in a little while as the laps wind down.
As that rev limiter will be, it's in the red there. That means they're on that rev limiter there for the, and they're in 4th gear. They're hitting it. They're hitting the max RPMs these cars can hit almost. The bottom left of your screen, that little meter goes from green, meaning they're in the good for RPMs. But as soon as it hits the red, that's where you know you're exceeding the speed.
As we see that 92 of Bruce Ackerman just bumping that number 5 down the back straight.
I will say from chat, Eric de Blasio, if I did say your name right, we do have some weird names, he says.
Well, we're trying our best. Yep, here we go. They're starting to go double file now.
As the leader of that high lane, the number 70 looked to starting to form it. They're going to start getting a run, though. They're going to get the run out of the turn.
Yeah, he's definitely got help from that. He's got about 2-3 cars back with him.
As he's hitting 197 going into turn 3 and 4. They're just flying around this racetrack.
The 28 slides up, almost gets into the side of the 29. It's getting a little hair-raising here now as the laps wind down.
Laps are winding down. 3 laps to go. That's where all the drivers are going to have to be on their feet the most because it's going to get hectic. All these drivers are going to start pushing more, pushing harder, trying to get any position they can, try and at least get the win or finish in the high position. And you know what? On the final 3 laps, these drivers are going to go crazy, and I would not be surprised if I see a wreck happen before this race ends. As though that number 70 and that number 29 are starting to get left down the dry there. Looks like that high line is getting a little, as the 29 will dive down to the low line, knowing that that high line is not going to work for him anymore. 70 going to try and get down as fast as he can. There's an opening behind him. Can he get it? He can get it. As now we're going to see the number 53 of James Hudson poke his nose. Oh, and there they go.
Oh, here we go. 53 going around with the 06.
Will that bring out a caution? No, look at that save by those 2 drivers. Keeping the cars going straight and no caution. That is what you call some great wheeling right there. But as we head back up to the front of the pack here, 2 laps to go, coming into turn 3 and 4, I wouldn't be surprised if we see the number 20, or is that the number 92, my mistake. The number 92 poke his nose out, coming out of turn 4 with the white flag to try and get the momentum to pass this number 5 for the win. And that's something I'm going to keep my eye on. As he's going to get a little loose.
Watch out, that apron. That tri-oval, I'll tell you, that's one of the trickiest places to be to make any kind of move.
Didn't seem to disadvantage anybody as they will get back in line as they were. As the 92 is going to ride the bumper of the 5.
He's got to run. He's pushing.
He's pushing him, but I think he's going to hold it for out of turn number 4. As they'll go into turn number 3. Last lap of the day.
So where would you want to be, Zach, in this position? Do you want to be the leader or the guy behind?
I want to be the guy behind because he's going to get that run, and the 9's going to dive high. Is he going to get it?
Here comes the 9 to the high side. Nothing doing. They'll get back in line.
Nope. That's it. Checkered flag flies, and your winner of this race will be the number 5 of Joseph Tice. Man, but I will say that I would like to be that number 92 behind him because he had the momentum to try and bounce up high, and if he bounced up high and the number 9 followed right behind him like he did when the 9 went up, I'm telling you, man, that number 9 could have pushed him to the win. That would have been a side-by-side battle like we saw back in 2016 with Denny Hamlin and the number 78 of Martin Truex Jr. And that was the closest finish in NASCAR ever.
Yeah, absolutely. But you gotta wonder, did they just want to stay in line to say, okay, we're just content on finishing up near the front, and instead of risking it and wrecking, was that part of the strategy?
I'm getting word that somebody's last name is, I don't know if it's appropriate to say on broadcast, Jen And I'll leave it at that. As that number 5 will do his victory burnout, winning the first duel of the night. As let's see if we can get an interview here with the top 3. Real quick before we have to head into the next duel. If I can find him, there he is. As currently we have the number 9 of Joe Slam up here in the Non-Stop Racing TV broadcast booth. Do you have a copy?
Yeah, how's it going?
All right. Well, we saw some hectic racing out here tonight. Didn't really see much of you until the end. Was that part of your strategy there, was to kind of stay hidden until the end of the race and try to make your move up to the front?
You know, I was just trying to get to the bottom and stay there. It's so tough to make a move on the high line. I just was riding it out.
Man, well, with that banking on that final lap, we saw you kind of peek your nose out on the final turn there to try and get a run, but just couldn't seem to happen there. Were you thinking that the number 92 would follow up and maybe you could gain a position and finish in P2?
Yeah, I was hoping he would make a move, and I was just going to decide if I was going to go with him or leave him out there. He almost lost it right after the white flag there, and I thought I was going to get hung out, but was able to slide back in line.
All right, man. Well, before we head you back out here for tonight, is there anybody you would like to thank tonight?
Yeah, just Jacob Fife and all the admins here at Integrity for the league. They run a good show.
All right. Well, great racing here tonight, and hopefully we see you again next week.
Thank you.
All right. That was your P3 finisher, the number 9 of Joe Slamma. Let's see if we can get an interview with the number 92 of Bruce Ackerman, as we will try to locate his radio. As I'm seeing, he does not have a radio currently, and he was probably one of my most favorites that I was ready to interview.
Yeah, apparently must not have the any radio equipment.
Must have unattached all of his radio equipment real quick. Well, let's see if we can get an interview then with the number 5 of Joseph Tice, and see if maybe get an interview with him and about how we were saying his name. As the number 5 of Joseph Tice does join us up here in the Non-Stop Racing Broadcast TV booth. Do you have a copy?
Yeah, I gotcha.
Well, man, we saw you out front for most of the race here after taking a fantastic move to pass the number 36. What was your strategy kind of beginning in this race?
Well, you know, it's so hard to get the outside lane to work. Honestly, my whole strategy the entire race was just hug the yellow line. If they get a run on the outside and get by me, that's fine. If they don't, that's fine too. So yeah, I was just yellow lining it.
Well, man, we definitely on that last lap. What were you thinking coming out of turn 4? Did you think that you were going to have a force to be reckoned with the 92 trying to peek his nose out?
No, little secret, the 92 is my teammate. I was happy to have him back there.
Oh, alrighty then. Well, I do have word that he does have a radio now, so before we head you out for here tonight, congratulations on your win. Is there anybody you would like to thank?
Yeah, I'd like to thank Jacob and the admin team. IRL's a pretty sweet place to run. I'd like to thank my sponsors, AMD and TechCrunch, and thank all my RBR boys, Adam and Eric and Bruce and Trevor. We have a lot of fun, and we're here to see what we can do this year.
All right, man. Thank you very much, and great job here tonight.
All right, thanks a lot.
All right, as now we're going to try and get a word with Bruce, as he does have a channel. Let's see if I can get him down here real quick. That's not the right person. I'm trying to get him down here. Where are you at, Bruce? There you are. All right, as we get Bruce's channel connected with the number 92 of Bruce Ackerman up here in the Non-Stop Racing TV booth, do you have a copy?
Yeah, I got you guys.
Man, we saw a lot of interesting moves out of you here tonight, but I'll be honest, man. I got a little disappointed because coming out of turn 4, I was really thinking you were going to poke your nose out in that with that number 9, going to try and help you gain the momentum to get the win. What was going through your mind on that final lap?
It was just a visit teammate of mine, and we just wanted to finish the race to make the main event. So we just had a clear mind of just, we didn't care who won. We just wanted to get through there safely.
All right. So your plan early on in the race, just with him, was to try and finish so you can make it into the duel. Well, what was going through your head throughout this whole race as you were up and down in the pack?
I think we figured out a lot of strategy and, what we need to do and where we need to be throughout the race and the main event.
All right, man. Well, as we do have to head into the other session here tonight, is there anybody you would like to thank before we head you out here tonight?
Yeah, I'd like to thank, all my teammates at RBR, a lot of good friends. We have a lot of good fun over there. Red Bull, that's about it.
All right, man. Well, good job here on your finish here tonight, and hopefully we do see you later on or next week.
Thank you.
As that was the number 92 of Bruce Ackerman. Well, that was an interesting first race, real entertaining, as now we will have you guys stand by for a quick second here as we do head our transition in to the second race. Alright. As we do return here to the iRacing, Non-Stop Racing TV presenting you... Oh, what's going on? There we go. Sorry about that. As we do return ooh, we're going to see a car flipping on the front stretch. As we do return here with the Non-Stop Racing TV presenting you with the Integrity Racing League, the All-In 250 at Daytona. All-In Restoration is a growing business started in 2017, owned and operated by James Hudson himself, the driver of the number 53 car. All-In Restoration covers anything from basic auto repairs to full-on restorations. If you have a car that is in dead need of restoration or any auto repair, just give a call to James Hudson. As these drivers do get ready here for the next race, we will bring you the grid now. Hopefully I have the right grid from last time. It didn't want to give me the right grid. Starting in first in the inside lane in the number 43 here tonight, William Dunn. Starting in second on the outside lane in the number 48, Adam Iblacio. Wow, that's a butchered name right there. Starting in third on the inside lane, the number 62 of Carson Bickle. Starting in fourth in the number 5, Brandon Kirkman. Starting in fifth in the number 11 here tonight, driver, the number 11, Eric de Blasio. Once again, another butchered name, I'm sorry. Starting in sixth in the number 1, Trevor Rapolo. Starting in seventh in the number 67, Don Stephenson. Wow, they're giving me some hard names here for this second race, guys. Starting in eighth in the number 8, Joshua Campbell. Starting in ninth in the number 13, Samuel Roush. Starting in 10th in the number 18, Cody Smith. Starting in 11th in the number 36, Jacob Fife. Starting in 12th in the number 95, Christopher Holly. Starting in 13th in the number 09, David Rattler. Starting in 14th in the number 16, Lance Gentle. Starting in 15th in the number 19, Tyler Herr. Starting in 16th in the number 83, Guillermo Alvarez. Starting in 17th in the number 01, William Roberts Jr. Starting in 18th in the number 42 here, Camilio Thompson. That's where I do have to end, as they will come out of turn number 4 here, ready to take the green. Pace car will dive down.
Green flag.
And green flag is waving, and we are off here for the second race of the night.
Really good clean start, and it looks like the leader got a really good jump on the field.
As the number 09 of David Rattler. Hoping I'm saying that name right, because, God, you guys are giving me some hard names here in the second round. Will take the lead so far, and he's going to have a good hold of it. With that number 1 of Rapolo putting his nose out a little bit, looking like he might try to move to the high line, but there's just not enough people out there again. As we see the same thing in the start of the race, not a lot of people want to stay on that high line. It's going to start forming once again as we get later on into this race, I feel.
Yeah, as we see now, we got only 2 cars on that outside lane. The 5 of Brandon Kirkman and the 83 of Guillermo Alvarez. As we see more cars start moving to the high line. Seems like that high line, more cars are jumping up to that high line earlier in this duel than we saw in the previous one.
Yeah, it's and early on in this race too, only on lap number 2.
Maybe they were watching the other duel, and saw how well that high side worked later on in the race. So maybe they figured, hey, let's try it early on, see if we can't get to the front on the high side.
That's a smart strategy move right there. Watch the first race while you're not racing and get some strategy moves and put him down as mental thoughts. I would do that as a driver.
And now here we are, all side by side by side.
As they come out of turn number 4 here, this number 5 is going to get a great run of momentum. The number 9, he's got a great run so much he can't come up and block. As Kirkman kind of reminds me of like Kirk Cousins. That's what his name reminds me of. Coming into turn 3 and 4, looking to overpass that number 09 for the lead.
Yeah, he may get that run coming off the corner. That's where that high line really prevails, is coming off the corners.
Exactly. Just doesn't seem to get it enough to lead the lap. They're going to try and do it again here into turn number 1. Getting the momentum going into the turn. They're going to lose it a little bit because they're on more of a bank than the low line.
Again, you see that side draft coming into play as that inside line tries to stall that high side out.
That can be a sketchy situation there, especially with net code, but even not net code, if you go up to side draft and the other driver comes down a little bit, it can cause the big one at Daytona. So the drivers have to be really conservative when side drafting.
And another thing too, with plate racing, you see these guys bump draft an awful lot, and that's not something that is easily accomplished. I mean, you gotta make sure you do it right, because if you hit him even in the wrong spot on that rear bumper, you're gonna hook their bumper and you're gonna turn them. So that also takes a lot of practice. It may look simple, but trust me, it's not.
As now we're gonna see that number 5 prevailing on that high line, getting the momentum on the backstretch.
He had the advantage going into 3, and now it looks like they're dead even. Can he get the run off of turn number 4?
As we'll see that right here, is he going to be able to lead this lap as they're going to come into that 18 degrees of banking? Not going to be able to do it. The 09 still prevails out front.
But both lanes look like they're pretty much even, as we're starting to see a couple cars bail from the high line and go to the low side. See the 78 go from the high side down the low side. The 78.
Uh-oh. We seem to have lost Ryan for a quick second there. Hopefully we can get him back. As the cars do come off of turn number 4 there. Only 2 cars really now helping that high line, helping that number 5. It's going to be the number 83 of Guillermo Alvarez. You guys are giving me some tough names here, jeez. And looks to be the number 01 of William Roberts Jr. is trying to get up in that high line to work with it. Can't seem to get it.
Yeah, they're going to need a lot more help on that high side if they want to even try to get it to work again. Because I don't know if 3 cars is going to be enough.
As let's see, we bring you a little more to the rear of the field here. Get that one car kind of stranded in between the number 62. He's losing some position to that high line as a lot of people now moved up back to the high line as they're trying to get it to work now. It went from about a 3 to 4 car field on that high line to about a 7.
Yeah, I think right now they're just experimenting. They're trying to see which is going to be better, high or low. But as it stands right now, it just seems that low line has just a little bit more of an advantage.
As I'm seeing some bright pink cars out there. One provided by the number 67 of Don Stephenson. And then another one provided by the number 4. Number 4 of Nick Harabush. I'm waiting to hear in chat what nicknames he has. I have one on the top of my head, but I don't know. As I do see that doesn't look a little appropriate on his hood for NASCAR there on the number 4 car. Wow. Try and keep that one off screen.
It could be an attention getter. You never know.
It could be real. But as these cars head into 3 and 4 here, coming into turn number 4, that number 09 still prevailing out front. I don't know, man. I'm telling you right now, I still have my eyes on that number 11. Ever since we seen him in that first practice, just driving that number FedEx number 11 around here, I have a strong feeling he's going to work his way up to the front tonight.
Yeah, I think a lot of these guys are just being patient, just riding things out, and trying to avoid what happened in the first duel.
As 23 laps to go here, these cars bringing it down the backstretch here as, ooh, we're going to see a nice patriotic scheme out of the number 01 there. Number 43 repping the old Richard Petty scheme. Seeing a lot of familiar schemes out there right now.
And if you notice, Zach, we only have 2 Fords in this field. One is at the front, the other one is at the back.
I didn't notice that. Thank you for pointing that out.
Yeah, I'm seeing that Ford, the 09, as being the only Ford until you get to the very back of the field.
See if we can get a view of that last Ford. To the very back, I did get a view of him. It's going to be the number 42. Wow.
Yeah, the 09 and the 42 are the only Fords in this field. This field pretty much dominated by Chevrolets. As we see the 5 car take the lead on that high side.
As he tried to take the lead there. I don't think he got the lap lead though.
Looked like he had it maybe coming through that short chute off turn 4, but that inside lane just moving ahead, going through the trial.
Definitely something that is also an advantage, that inside lane going onto the front stretch start finish line. That 18 degrees of banking is still banking, and the low lane will still have the advantage on the banking.
Yeah, it just seems, like I said, it seems like the high side gets a little bit of an advantage coming off the corners. They get a better run coming out of the turns.
That is very true, but doesn't seem like they have enough help now. But as they go into turn 1 and 2, that high line is really bumper to bumper now, and they're really starting to get the run. I'm excited to see what happens coming out of turn 2.
Oh, here they come. That high side trying to get going as the 1 gives the 09 a little bump, trying to keep him ahead.
As they're in 3 and 4 right now, he's not losing a lot of ground to that number 09 as he normally would. I think he's going to get the lap lead on this lap.
Might do it.
Be close.
Looks like he got it. He did. He got it.
Wow, look at that.
Brandon Kirkman in the 5 leads that lap on the high side.
That number 5 is starting to prevail a little more and more on that high side right now.
See if he tries to cut down in front of the 09 going
and he
into
will.
3, and he does. So put the 5 of Kirkman in front. And here comes the 83 to the outside. He's going to try and take the lead.
He's going to get the lead. Guillermo Alvarez. God, you guys have some hard names.
He's got about a half a car length.
Can't seem to
coming
get down
off,
in time.
and now he's got the room if he wants to come down. And there he goes. He's down to the bottom.
That number 01's going to get the help. He's going to get that help on that high line, maybe.
Can the 43 and the 18 push?
Is the 01 going to get the lap here as they go into the start-finish line? He cannot. Just about a car length from the lap. As now the second lead change of the night here to the number 83. The 83 at GA. How about that? That's way easier to say. How about G-Alv?
There you go. When in doubt, abbreviate. But I have to tell you, Zach, from the first duel and this duel, these guys are putting on one heck of a show.
Yeah, definitely. This second duel is looking to be a good one too. As that high line is starting to form. It's still kind of formed, but they're more bumper to bumper now. I think that 01's going to get the chance to go up there and take the lead. But that's how it seemed the lead changes have happened so far.
Yeah, I think what needs to happen is those cars, like the 3 or 4 cars back, they really got to close that gap up, because there is a little bit too much of a gap. They all got to be nose to tail right on each other to get that high line really going. Well, as the 48 touches the apron, slides up a little bit.
As that high line seems to be disintegrating just a little bit.
Yeah, you got 5 cars up on that high line, but then there's 2 more, but they're a little bit too far back to be of any help right now. Okay.
As they head into turn 2 here, number 83 of G. Alves still out front.
Yeah, it looks like that high side's starting to get a better run. They're getting more and more even with the leader. Might have something for him.
Yeah, and especially it's just a 3-car, kind of almost a 5-car run, but it's broken up a little bit. Coming out of turn number 4 there, I just don't see them being able to get to that front position there right now. They just need those 2 cars behind them to link up to have a 5-car bumper to bumper, and then they're going to be, I think, definitely able to get up to that front.
Yeah, there's just too much of a gap. I mean, you got about a whole car length between the 18 and the 13, and I think if they really going to have to make anything happen, they got to close up that gap. As we now see more cars go to the high side. Look at the line on the high side now.
Oh man, it's definitely starting to form, as now there's a big gap on that inside line. The 01, he's going to get that advantage off of turn number 2 here. He's going to take the lead off of turn 2 here. But will he dive down low, or is he going to stay on the high side? Because he doesn't know what lane has the most cars right now.
Looks like it's that that high side is really keeping up, and they got quite a few cars up there now.
With 11 laps left here to go, I think things are going to start to shake up a lot more now.
Yeah, I think we're going to start seeing these guys get a little bit more aggressive as the laps are starting to wind down.
As you typically see at any super speedway race, or any race in general, every driver gets a little more aggressive as the laps wind down, trying to get the most positions they can. But Daytona is where it really shows.
Oh yeah, and you know, as a driver, I mean, especially if you're up near the front, you know, those laps are winding down, your heart starts racing, and you just want to start getting to the front, and that's when the mistakes start to happen.
10 laps to go here. So far, so good. All the drivers seem to be calm and steady. Non-Stop Racing TV is going to bring you into the Crank It Up view, presented by yours truly, Non-Stop Racing TV. As that was Crank It Up, presented to you by Non-Stop Racing TV. 8 laps to go here, Ryan. I'm seeing a little more aggressionness now coming out of these drivers. That 83 still out front prevailing.
As you see the 43 give the 0-1 quite a shot in the back end coming off turn 2. These guys are going to start getting aggressive, trying to start making some moves to get to the front.
Yeah, that high line is really starting to form in now, about the same amount of cars on each lane. I think it's going to be a photo finish here, Ryan. I really do.
Oh, it's going to be exciting. And in case you're joining us, no, we did not just drop the green flag. These guys are 26, working lap 27.
7 laps to go here. Man, oh man, is this getting tight. As we're going to bring you into a cockpit view presented to you by the number one driver of Trevor Roppolo. We're going to see his aggressiveness on the throttle here. He's got a lot of cars on his outside lane, and like we said in the last duel, he can't see anything to his right side. Doesn't know where this car is, how close the car is into him. He has to rely all on his spotter. His spotter has to tell him, hey, you're getting too close to that outside car, you need to get low. That's a quick decision thing by the spotter, and that spotter is talking way more than he does ever talk at a super speedway. You will never hear the spotter talk as much at any other track than he will at a super speedway.
Yeah, and the one thing you're going to constantly hear out of your spotter, still there, still there.
Still there.
But look at this 0-1 starting to go ahead on the outside. Will he dive down to the bottom? Can't quite get there.
As they come to
I don't think it gets any closer than this.
It's not going to get any closer than this. Bumper to bumper, door to door. 5 laps to go. The intensity level is rising.
And then now they're going 3 wide near the back.
That 3 wide's not going to help them get to the front any easier. Coming out of turn number 4. Will be 4 laps remaining this time round. Each lap, this intensity level rises just a little more. So that white flag drops. Once it does, that intensity level is at its highest.
Yeah, you can tell these guys are definitely getting aggressive. They know the end of the race is coming. It's go time.
As we're going to see the number 01 getting a great run out of turn number 2 there with that momentum on the high line. He's really fighting it right now. Trying to get by that 83, but the 83, is he going to go up high and try to hold off that momentum? We'll have to see. Coming out of turn number 4 here, coming to 3 laps to go, folks.
But you'll notice that inside line is those cars are grouped more tightly than that outside lane. So I don't know if that outside line is going to be able to
as that outside line
get up further.
Yeah, as that outside line starts to disintegrate a little bit. Only about 3 cars now bumper to bumper. I think it's now just going to be an inside line race as that outside line seemed to have disintegrated. Only 3 cars now in that outside lane in total. That is none of... Oh, we're going to see 1 car pop out. Looks to be the number 60... I think it's the number 62 of Carson Baytool. Baytool. Man, you guys really gave me some hard names to pronounce. Coming to 2 laps to go.
I just don't know if that high line is going to be able to get the momentum to get to the front. There's only, what, about 5-6 cars to the high side?
I don't know, but I think that if that high line gets far enough back, that number 5 is going to jump out to that high line on the final lap. He's going to try to do anything he can to get by this 83. He's pushed his 83 for almost the whole race, and he said, hey, it's my turn to be out front. Again. As they come through turn 3 and 4. Coming out of turn number 4 for the white flag this time. Number 83 of G-Alv will take the white flag, leading the field. Now we're going to see a lot of cars starting to go to that outside lane.
Will we see the 83 go up to the high side and try and block and break that draft?
I don't know, but they're going to get a run coming out of turn number 2.
Does not appear that high lane has got anything. Nope. It looks like the low line is going to be the preferred lane.
Is the number 5 going to try and peek his nose out at turn number 4 here? I'm going to see. He will not.
Here we go. Looks like the 83 is going to get it.
And the number 83 of Guillermo Alvarez will take the checkered flag. Wow. Led 18 out of 32 laps tonight.
And how about that, Zach? Caution free.
Not one single caution, not one single big one. These guys made it on full fuel, never pitted. What an amazing race, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, you got to give a shout out to, kudos to every single one of these guys for keeping a clean race, keeping it exciting yet clean. I mean, that's just an amazing job by all these guys.
Exactly. As we're going to try and round into the top 3 here for interviews. As we will give a second to let the number 83 do his victory burnouts here. As I'm trying to find the number 09 of Rattler, I'm trying to find his channel. Can't seem to find his channel. Anybody in chat does have any help for me trying to find it, because we will pull up our results board there. Seeming to find him, man.
Little communication issues.
Yeah, just a little bit. Maybe we can try and find this P2 finisher of Kirkman. There he is. As we are going to bring the number 5 of Brandon Kirkman down into the Non-Stop Racing TV broadcast booth. Do you have a copy?
I do. How are you doing tonight?
Good. We saw some great racing out of you here tonight. I'm surprised I didn't see you try and go up, man. You pushed that 83 this whole race. What was your strategy on that final lap to try and get the win?
Well, I did have to race my way into the 500 tonight. So going into the race, my strategy was to get down to the bottom as quickly as possible. That didn't happen. The 83 was definitely a friend in pushing me there, and got to thank my teammate in the 43 for pushing him as well. But just really need to get to the bottom and play it safe, just to make sure to make the big show.
All right, man. That's a great strategy. You guys had a great race here tonight. Is there anybody you'd like to thank before we had you out here for tonight?
Just want to thank Jacob and all the admins for putting together the league. It's a pretty good ran league, and I have a good time here.
All right. Well, great job here tonight and great finish, and hopefully we do see you next week.
Thank you. Have a good one.
All right. As chat has not told me if the number 09 does have his radio equipment still, we will go to our winner in the number 83 if we can find him. As he does not look like he has a radio either. Wow. I am checking all up and down these radio channels just to make sure I didn't miss him. But I'm not seeming to find him. So
Looks like we're on a short supply of radios tonight.
Exactly. So I guess let's pull in we'll try to get one more interview in before we put it on standby so we can get the final lineup for the next week's Daytona 500. Let's pull in the number... Who's an action-packed number here tonight? I'm going to say, let's see if I can find that number 11. I want to hear what happened with him. He was my pick for tonight, and believing by where he finished in the 11th spot, maybe he had some difficulties with his car.
Yeah, I have to say I think my favorite car was that number 43, that STP Chevy. I mean, that was just a sharp-looking car.
I don't see the number 11 either, so man, we're gonna go on to the 43 then, man. Let's have you ask a couple questions, Ryan, as we do bring the number 43 of William Dunn down in here into the Non-Stop Racing broadcast booth. Do you have a copy?
Yeah, I got you guys. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Doing well.
Ryan, you got a couple of questions for this number 43 here tonight.
Hey, William, I just got to say, first of all, outstanding paint job. I really love that STP car. And second of all, were you committed to that high side? Did you just plan on staying out there, or did you want to get to the inside? But how was that high line? Were you finding it was working as well as you'd hoped?
Well, I honestly, after watching the first race, I didn't think the outside lane was going to work too well, but we were able to maintain momentum. It's just once we pushed a couple of guys out front, they dropped to the bottom. We just never were able to get that momentum again. We got close. I got the 01, almost clear, but we never got fully clear. So it's kind of interesting, different than I expected.
I do.
Yeah, we saw a bunch of cars go to the high side, and it looked like you guys had a pretty decent line on that high side, but then everybody would start dropping to the bottom. But I think if you guys had enough help up there, you guys would on that high side would have been up in the front.
Definitely. Yeah, we pushed the 5 up front, and then the 83 up front, and then we just stalled, and then it was side by side from there. So, yeah, it's the draft package obviously isn't that great. We would like to see a lot more passing and a lot more stuff, but we're running side by side, so I mean that's good. But not much movement. Nobody can move from the back to the front, so it's a little frustrating.
Just one quick question before we head you out here tonight. How intense, can you tell us, does it get as those laps do start to wind down? How intense does it get into the car?
Oh, next week when we get down to the final laps of the real race, it's going to be intense. It gets intense, especially if you're towards the front. There's pit stops, green flag pit stops, that sort of thing. It gets really intense down towards the end, and all you can ask for is just hope you have a chance, and hope you're out front, because I don't, it's going to be hard to pass. It's going to take a couple people to pull out a line and drop the leader. So, be interesting to see how it goes. But yeah, it's definitely intense.
All right, William. Do you have anybody here to thank tonight before we head you out?
Yeah, first of all, I'd like to congratulate the 5, my teammate Kirkman, on making the race. That was our goal coming into here, was to push him towards the front, get him up there, make sure that he was safe for the race. And then thanks to Jacob Fife and all the other admins of the league for putting this on. Thanks to you guys for broadcasting. It's gonna be fun all year, getting to watch these things, after the fact, just to see what happens and see what you guys think. So, yeah.
All right. Well, we're going to head you out here for tonight. Great finish tonight, and hopefully we do see you next week.
All right. Take care, guys.
All right, Ryan, as we will go on standby real quick as Nonstop Racing TV does get your Daytona 500 lineup ready and in action for the Daytona 500 in Integrity Racing. as we are going over the confirmation right now just to make sure the whole field is correctly set for next week's Daytona 500. on the final confirmation here of this final. A little hectic trying to get this all set up, folks. I do apologize. If you do hear errors in the background, they are perfectly fine.
Zach, you're good to go.
Making sure it's all set. I gotta do reslide one. Right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Non-Stop Racing TV is proud to present to you Integrity Racing League's 2018 Daytona 500 starting lineup. Starting in row number 1, on the inside will be the driver of Kohler. Starting on the outside will be the driver of Rattler. In row number 2, the driver of Tice on the inside, and on the outside will be the driver of Alvarez on the outside. In row number 3, Ackerman will take the inside lane with Kirkman onto the outside. Row number 4 will be Slamma on the inside and Roppolo on the outside. Row number 5 will be Pierce on the inside and Roberts Jr. taking that outside lane. As we head down into row number 6 here, Ryan Nichols will continue on.
Row number 6 on the inside will be Jason Miller. Outside will be Adam de Blasio. Row 7 will be Alan Pajari. Sorry if I mispronounced that. And outside will be William Dunn. Row 8 will be Neil Frolick on the inside and Carson Batehall on the outside. Row 9 will be Kent Wetherell. And on the outside will be Cody Smith. Row 10 will be Randy Fayash on the inside, and on the outside will be Nick Terabouche.
Starting in row number 11 on the inside will be McCallum. Sorry if I mispronounced that. God, trying to say these names is making me talk wrong. Starting on the outside, in row number 11 will be de Blasio. Starting on row number 12 on the inside will be Staller, and on the outside to him will be Hare. In row number 13 on the inside will be Hudson, and on the outside of him will be Stephenson. Starting in row number 14 on the inside will be Dewell, and on the outside of Dewell in row number 14 will be Campbell. In row number 15, Hickson on the inside, and on the outside will be Dillon.
Row 16 will be Jay Heishman on the inside and Greg Trago on the outside. Row 7.
I think you meant row 16 will be Jay Fife.
Now, row 17 will be Jim Fife on the inside, and on the outside will be Lance Gentles. Row 18 will be Joseph Galuda. And on the outside will be Todd Thomas. Row 19 will be Christopher Schetzler on the inside and Jacob Fife on the outside. Row 20 will be Alan Rowell on the inside and Caleb Eisenhower starting on the outside. Row 21 will be Joseph Yates on the inside, and on the outside will be Brad Patton. And rounding out the field for the Daytona 250 will be Brandon Six.
As we will cycle through that one more time for you without saying the names. Good luck to all the drivers that will be participating next week in the 2018 Daytona 500 Integrity Racing. This has been Non-Stop Racing TV, and we hope you guys have had a wonderful night. Good night, everybody.